All right, guys, so I think I've got this kind of cleaned up where I want it. It's looking pretty decent, I believe. So this side here, which is going to be the side that's facing out, you know, it's got your lettering on there. I tried to knock down. There was a couple build-up areas that were a little taller than the others, so I tried to knock those down. But I don't want to remove all of the material there. It's supposed to, you know, help provide some extra strength there in your braze joint. But being a repaired piece, I mean, it's obvious whenever you look at this that you'll see that it's been repaired, but we're trying to make it look as presentable as we can. I just don't feel the necessity to go in there and grind all that out flush with the original cast. So we're going to leave it like that. And then what I was doing was using the pneumatic needle scaler right here, just as a technique to add a little bit of texture to your filler material there to kind of make it blend in with the cast iron there. Okay, so that's all I was doing there. And then the inside, try to blend it a little bit too. I didn't go in here and grind any of this down. This is technically the side that's going to be somewhat hidden from view. This is the side that, you know, you're going to be within eye shot if you're walking around near the drill. So that one we got it cleaned up good. I'll get in here and kind of wipe some more of this powdery dust out of there from the brazing to kind of clean it up just a little bit more. But this is going to be it right here for the gear. I believe we're just going to leave it right where it's at. I'm happy with that. Could it be better? I think it could be better than that. I missed a little area right there that I could have filled this in a little more uniform, but I don't think it's worth the extra labor and everything you got to go through for your preheating and heat it all back up just for a little spot like that. That's not really going to affect the strength of the joint there. You're just talking about a cosmetic area. So I think our gear is going to be finished up there. All right, right now I just want to get a little bit of a bevel on the ends of it, the ends of the crack. So there and there. We'll get that brazed and then we'll finish grinding it out. Got a light over here, forgot about. There we go. Maybe now we can actually see something. The idea is that you still want to leave plenty of the natural crack there so that it lines itself back up. You get enough in there on both sides that we can get it tacked in with a good braze, and then we can come in there and grind out the sides and finish filling the crack up with filler. All right, so what I want to try here is, I'm just trying to get it oriented right. All right, so I think we're gonna do like that. So what I wanna try is we're gonna put this piece in the vise here. I'm gonna use my Noga clamp to hopefully hold this side. Let's see here. I've got this mounted on a Noga arm. Just like that, making sure you guys can see this. It's like having a third hand here, so that we can come over here and line up the crack as close as we can. Like that, lock the articulating arm where you want it. It's there, I just need to get it seated a little bit better, and then lock your arm here. And bam, we should have a joint that's perfectly lined up. And this being such a small part there, it won't take long to get it preheated. Make sure this area is nice and hot, and we should be able to tack that in fairly easy. I'm not going to use the TIG braze on this. I'm actually going to use the brazing rod to braze both sides of it. All right, we'll get it preheated, and then we'll stick it with the brazing rod. All right, we've got that side tacked and it looks good. What I want to do is loosen it from the vise. It should hold just fine, hopefully. Flip it over here, get it supported. Gotta get it hot again. Go. All right, let's get our Noga arm out of the way. And what I want to do is go ahead and get this out of here. We'll get it clamped in and then go ahead and grind. Go ahead and grind it. We're just going to use our fixture plate to hold it instead of trying to clamp it. Okay. All right, so now we got we got it clamped down our fixture. It's going to work really well, so a lot less chance of it drawing the heat out like the vise is doing. But I've got it V'd down approximately halfway, just eyeballing it there, and we'll go ahead and braze this side up, get a good buildup on it, and then we'll flip it over and do the exact same thing. We'll grind out the V, try to get down to our filler material, and then fill it up. So we're attempting to go for 100% joint all the way through there. Just got to work it in stages so that it'll stay together while you're brazing it. All right, we'll flip it over. It should be cool enough now to support itself. Loosen the Noga clamp, get it out the way. But we're going to hold it just like we've been doing. see our crack there in the middle? Maybe you can see that, but just V in the crack out. All right, we've got it held by 2 points there, our stud and our Noga clamp, and I have ground that down to where I can see the bronze filler on the bottom side on our first braze there. So hopefully this will all fill up, but it's really easy to get this too hot, and if you get it too hot, your filler that's already stuck there is going to try to melt and fall through. So that's where this can get really tricky. So we're going to try not to overdo it here. I'll preheat it, get it warm again, and then go back in there with a reduced flame on my brazing and try to be a little more delicate with it. All right, so I think we've got a good joint here now, and I've got a little bit of runoff with the brazing rod over on the side, on both sides right there. And I think what I might be able to do, instead of trying to come in here and heat this up and braze it again to get it to blend, I may just use a grinder and just dress this off and just kind of clean it up. Because we're not wanting to grind it to where it removes all of our buildup. You know, we want to leave a little bit of material there for our, like a weld bead, to add some strength. So I'm just letting it cool some, and then I'll unclamp it and we'll look at the bottom and see if it stayed in there like it should. But these little small areas like this can be really tricky to get right. And it's not like I'm over here brazing these things every single day, so I'm a little bit out of practice. I used to braze, man, when I was with Dad, I used to be brazing stuff like every week. I would be brazing things that came in. So there was a time period where I was brazing all the time. Every week I was doing something with cast iron. And I really enjoy doing it. It really is it's a great skill to know and learn, and I enjoy it so much better than trying to TIG weld a little joint like that together. This is the way that you repair cast iron right here, for a broken part anyway. Braze it together. All right, we'll bring it back and show you what it looks like once we let it cool down some.
You look cute.
Oh, I'm sure that they think the same thing. What A-Bomb sure is a cute feller. I think our joint is bonded together nicely. We've got the two little overflows on the end there, and I think all we're going to have to do there is just use our air grinder and grind those off and just blend the ends of it together. So I think we've got a good braze joint there to work with. I'm going to use the needle scaler and see if it'll help get the rest of this flux off here, and then do that little trick where we kind of blend the texture of the buildup material of the joint with the cast iron there. It's working good. All that noise that piston compressor makes is why I'm so glad that I was able to get a Kaiser screw compressor for the new space. All right, so there it is. I think it worked out good. Using the needle scaler definitely helped get that flux off there and help put that sort of grainy looking texture back into it. Now I am going to go back over to the wire wheel and hit this again with the wire brush, and that will kind of help slick out some of the more extreme roughness that the needle scaler put on there and blend it in just a little bit more. But I'm happy with the way it brazed. It flowed together nicely, and we should have a nice strong joint there and a functioning part once again. There should be no reason why this would ever break unless it's put into a bind in a way that's not designed to do, which is what happened whenever it was shipped. But this just rotating on that pin and catching this pawl right there and moving it, this is going to work just fine. Happy with it. All right, so there's our gear completely finished up now, you know, cleaned up with our wire brushes and dressed it slightly. We've hit it with our needle scaler to kind of blend in those braze joints a little bit better. But as I had mentioned, I don't want to grind all this away because I think you're going to be removing some of the strength of the braze joint if you grind it all down smooth. So we're just going to leave it like that. If the owner of this wants it ground down more, then that's something that they could do themselves if they're not happy with this. But I'm going to leave it just like you see it right here. And I mean, they may be happy with it just like it is too. But we've got a good strong brazed joints in there that's going to put this back in the service, and it should work great. It'll put this old post drill press back in the service, and he'll be able to actually use it. So another old part that we were able to repair and save. But unfortunately, we've got one more step that we're going to have to make with this. And because of this extra step, we're probably going to have to just have a separate video on the next part of the repair that we'll bring you guys back to. And the problem is that even though we lined up our cracks as perfectly as we could, the bore is not 100% concentric with the face and the diameter there of the gear to the point where I don't feel comfortable with it, and I think it needs to be repaired. So I'll bring you guys back, and we'll go ahead, and what I was thinking I'm going to do is get it set up so that we know that our bevel gear here is running nice and true, and skin this ID out, bore it out to where we can make a thinnish sleeve, press a sleeve in there, and then that should true it back up with our gear. I think that's a simple enough repair to get it running true again and get it on its way. So we'll bring you guys back for that part of the repair. And we also just finished up our pawl there, you know, our broken arm, and I am really happy with the way this one turned out. The joint looks really good, and it just feels nice too, the way we've kind of blended it there. So this should have been the end of the video, the end of our repair, but let's go ahead and work on the bore and make sure this thing is going to be running nice and straight whenever it's mounted on the drill press there. So come on back and check out the next video to finish this gear off for repair.